you're not stupid. But if you're honest with yourself, you've done something stupid. Not the funny, harmless kind. The kind that keeps you up at night. The kind that makes you whisper, "How did I not see it?" Maybe you trusted the wrong person. Maybe you defended something you secretly knew was wrong. Maybe you stayed quiet while someone else was being crushed. Maybe you just joined the crowd because being alone felt so much worse than being right. And the scariest part? You didn't do it because you lacked intelligence. You did it because you're human. Because real stupidity doesn't arrive wearing a clown suit. It arrives wearing a uniform, a friendly smile, a catchy slogan. It arrives wrapped in a sense of belonging. It arrives as comfort. And that's why the most terrifying form of stupidity isn't ignorance. It's obedience. There's a haunting idea from a man who lived under one of the darkest regimes in modern history, Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He watched his own country, Germany, slide into utter madness while millions of educated, intelligent, normal people cheered it on. Bonhoeffer wrote something chilling. Stupidity is more dangerous than evil. Why? Because evil knows what it's doing. Evil is awake, but stupidity is asleep. And people who are asleep can be led anywhere. They can be convinced that cruelty is justice, that lies are truth, that hatred is patriotism, and that obedience is morality. And they will feel proud while doing it. Bonhoeffer wasn't saying people were born dumb. He was saying something far worse, that stupidity is a social condition. It's a psychological infection that spreads from person to person. So the real question isn't, how could they do that back then? The real question is, how could we do it right now and not even notice? Imagine you're in a crowded room. Someone grabs the microphone and says something obviously false, something ridiculous, and yet people start nodding. Not everyone, but enough. Your stomach tightens, and suddenly, your brain starts to doubt your own perception, not because the claim is convincing, but because the crowd is. Because when enough people agree on something, reality itself begins to feel negotiable. And that's where this kind of stupidity begins. Not in the mind, but in the atmosphere. Plato warned about this over 2,000 years ago. He believed a society rots when people stop respecting wisdom and start worshiping charisma. When the loudest voice becomes the leader. When entertainment replaces truth. When raw emotion replaces reason. And in that environment, a tyrant rises. But he doesn't arrive as a tyrant. He arrives as a friend. And here's the first uncomfortable truth. Most people don't actually want freedom. They want relief. Freedom is heavy. It demands constant thinking, responsibility, and doubt. Relief is easy. Relief is when someone else decides. Someone else carries the burden. Someone else takes the blame. And when life becomes stressful, relief becomes addictive. That's when you crave simple answers. That's when you crave someone who speaks with absolute certainty. Someone who says, "Don't worry. I see the problem. I know exactly who to blame. Just follow me." Here's the twist. This kind of stupidity is not the absence of intelligence. It's the surrender of it. And intelligent people surrender their intelligence all the time, sometimes more than anyone else. Because smart people are experts at rationalizing anything. They can explain away red flags. They can defend contradictions. They can justify cruelty with cold, detached logic. Bonhoeffer said stupidity appears when people lose their inner independence. When they stop being individuals and start becoming instruments. Their thinking is no longer theirs. Their opinions are borrowed. Their outrage is scheduled. Their compassion is conditional. And that's when a person becomes capable of anything. Even atrocities. Even betrayal. Even silence. Because most of the evil in history wasn't done by monsters. It was done by ordinary people just trying to fit in. People who said, "I'm just doing my job. I'm just following orders. I don't want to get involved. It's not my problem." That's why stupidity is more dangerous than evil. Because evil is rare, but obedience is common. So how do you resist? How do you avoid becoming just another face in the crowd? The answer is simple, but it's not easy. You resist by becoming harder to manipulate. That means confronting your own hunger for approval, your fear of being disliked, your addiction to certainty, and the humbling fact that you might be wrong. Because the most manipulated people are always the ones who believe, "It could never happen to me." That very sentence is the beginning of almost every tragedy. Bonhoeffer believed the only antidote to this social stupidity was inner freedom, the ability to stand alone, to endure discomfort, misunderstanding, and being unpopular, to bear the loneliness of your own truth. And here's the final twist. The real enemy isn't the stupidity out there. The enemy is the part of you that wants to stop thinking. The part that wants the world to be simple. The part that wants a hero, a villain, and easy answers. So the next time you feel the pull of the crowd, the next time you feel yourself shrinking to fit in, just stop and ask yourself one question. Is this my mind or someone else's? Because the most frightening prison is the one you decorate yourself. And the most terrifying stupidity is the kind that feels like wisdom. If you can remember that, if you can keep that small flame of inner independence alive, then even in a world of constant noise, you will remain awake. And an awake person is the one thing every manipulator truly fears. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content that makes you think. Stay awake.